hate to cuss like this, but it's the only way I could get the message across, okay? Men who want to you have no action behind their words. They say shit like, I want to see you, I'm thinking about you. No action behind that. They just talking because it's easy and it's free, right? Men who want to fuck with you send you flowers and then they ask you if you're available at 7 for dinner. It's a very big difference. Men who really are interested in you apply pressure or they don't press send. Okay? Men who are just talking and telling you all the time they think about you and they want to see you and, oh, let's just be together. Talk. You're just talking. You're annoying. Okay? It's a very big difference. When a man wants to really deal with you, he puts pressure on you. He won't let you slip through his fingers. So anything less is you accepting less. It's better to wait for something real.
Are y'all listening to this advice? What you don't think that the guy that's putting pressure on you is also looking to just bust you down also? I'm not going to use her words because, I'm changing the way that I communicate based off of the feedback that I've been getting with you guys on both this channel and the Millionaire Morning Show. But for some reason, she don't understand that the guy that probably is not really pressuring you is probably the guy that's more meaningful in your life because he not tripping off of you. And see, people don't really understand the value of certain type of men. Men that's trying to mess with you is often the times the men that you're not really trying to be with because you want a guy that's busy and you want a guy that everybody else wants, which means that he's much more valuable, not only in the marketplace, but also to himself. Here, let me break it down for you like this, baby girl. They both want to bust you down. Is this the truth? Like, this sounds good, but ask yourself this question. If all of these women can coach you into success, where they motion at? How come they still thirst trapping on Instagram and all of that? And I don't know her particularly, so I'm not speaking to her specifically, but I hear this type of rhetoric and this type of narrative, and then you see all of the people in the comments, and they like, yes, girl, and all of that. I feel you, that's the one. And all of them is getting the same type of motion and the same type of dudes, and they still messing with the large majority of a dude that's moving the way that he want to move when he want to move, and they still putting him in the phone as food and all of this. How come these women are not getting the motion that they saying that they want, and it ain't just talk, right? Let me tell you something, bro. And this is the real. Ladies, both of them want to just bust you down. And just because he said he gonna meet you for dinner at that particular time don't mean that he not gonna leave you on red after he get whatever it is that he want. That's number one. Number two, a dude that's busy ain't really checking for you like that. And just because you're pretty don't mean that you have any more value to us other than whatever it is that's between your legs, right? And this is why I keep telling y'all to stop taking dating advice from women or women that are on the internet that have no success of what being successfully married looks like. Because when you're vetting for marriage, often at times it comes from people that's already within your circle, right? It's not about whether or not I'm gonna take you for dinner, and y'all gotta stop spending money on these women because that does not put you in a position to where you can actually see who she authentically is. Just because you have access to her don't mean that she's not gonna still be a chameleon, and it's not gonna be a wasted situation or a waste of money or a waste of your time. And just because you see her and you're being a lot more intentional don't mean that you can't just bust her down and keep it moving, right? And when you start to look for a wife, or when you start to vet for somebody or take into consideration, and not even look for a wife, that's probably the wrong rhetoric. When you start to consider somebody as a value add in your life to where you would even get to the point to where you would even marry her or let her or allow for her to be the mother of your children, because marriage is a business first for men, and it should be, instead of love. The way that you then vet through that is often at times through your network, because you've been able to authentically see who she is without any airs, without the presentation layer, without what it is that she's doing on the internet or Instagram, without, you can see how she moves in a room full of people and whether or not she's for the streets. You can see how she treats her mother. You can see how she reacts to problems and trouble, and whether or not she's an overcomer or a person that melts down. You can see how she manages her finances. You can see the type of friends that she's around. You can see whether or not she carries herself like a lady, or whether or not she just giving you the presentation later, right? You can see whether or not she has a certain type of friend group, which is often at times a reflection of her mentality and how she moves also, right? You can see whether or not she go to church, or if she's not a believer. And it's basically an evaluation process to see if this is a type of person without interest in her, of, if this is the type of person that you wouldn't mind spending more time with, instead of what it is that you desire just because of a looks perspective, or what it is that she's presenting on the internet, right? And so this is why you got to get out of the apps. This is why you got to participate in real life, because you can't really see who a person is, and they just talking similar to what she's doing right now. But it doesn't mean that a guy is not going to try to bust you down, or he doesn't have interest in busting you down. Just because he sends you flowers and says whatever type of time I'm going to meet you. Man, pressure is pressure, and pressure to get the draws is just as much pressure to marry you. And often at times you need to spend more time observing somebody and the nature of who it is that they are, instead of trying to put pressure on them to marry them. I think it's the reverse. I believe that guys, and listen, she can say whatever she want to say to the ladies. That's cool. But for the fellas, let me give you the real play. Stop pedestalizing these women and trying to be intentional so much so to where you trying to take her off the market. If she was there and she's still on the market with all of these tens of years, and she 24, 25, 29, 30, 45, 39, whatever age she was that before you met her. What you think that her value is just going, and she just going to get off the market like an auction immediately after you meet her, because, oh my God, I got to hurry up and wrap her up. Stop being so pressed for these chicks. And y'all got to understand, regardless of what she look like or what space that she in, you the king, you the prize. And so if she's not available when you decide to make yourself available for her, and for her to fit into your schedule, not her schedule, your schedule, then she not for you. She not, and it's a strong possibility she's gonna be right back with her availability. And if it's not, it's literally 9 billion people on this earth. I wouldn't be tripping about it, because choosing a wife is your duty, not her choosing a man. And so stop listening to these women. It's continuing to give you advice on putting pressure on women and all of that. That's how y'all get caught up. That's how y'all get finessed. That's how y'all get put in a woman's phone as food. That's how y'all start to look thirsty. That's how you find yourself, you know what I'm saying, being a dude that's getting cheated on, or you thinking you putting more value into her instead of putting the majority of the resources and the value into yourself, and you think that she dope, when in reality, she's just another woman until you make her, or you put her in a position to be a wife. Straight up. Stop getting finessed by these women. Stop listening to them giving you advice on how it is that you need to put pressure on them. Man, chill out, slow motion. And the dudes that's really leveling up and getting it, or the dudes that's worth their salt, they gonna have plenty of chicks beating down their door anyway. And the women, you need to stop being so pressed for a man to press on you, because often at times that's the dudes that's just gonna bust you down and then make sure that you get up out of there after you had that post nut clarity. That's a fact though. I'm curious as to what y'all think. You know me, I'm always open to the possibility that I'm wrong, but I absolutely doubt it. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm out.